Hello. If you are new around here, my name is Kathy Martin and I'm the creator of the Pre-Algebra Teachers Middle School Math membership. This video that I'm going to be sharing with you in just a second is an encore presentation of an interview that was completed during the Middle School Math Summit. Please note that any freebies, links, or resources that may have been mentioned in this video may not be available any longer. Be sure to check out the Middle School Math Summit in July in this coming summer. Until then, enjoy this encore presentation.
Hello and welcome to the Middle School Math Summit. I'm your host, Kathy Martin, and I am so excited to bring you our interview with the one and only Caitlin Smith. Caitlin, thank you so much for being part of this event. I am so excited to chat with you all things self-care. For those who may not know you, can you share a little bit about yourself and your life as an educator?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kathy. I'm so happy to be here. Hey, y'all, welcome. My name is Caitlin Pace Smith, and I am a former educator turned instructional designer here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I have been teaching for about 10 years, and I just recently left the classroom, like I said earlier. But my background in education comes with 3 degrees. I really like to learn. I have my bachelor's in elementary education, a master's in curriculum and instruction, and another master's in teaching English as a second language. So since leaving the classroom, I've been able to build my brand, which is How to Get Away with Teaching, where we bring awareness to helping teachers prioritize themselves through intentional and radical self-care. And I'm super happy to be here to talk to y'all all about self-care.
I love it. You really are one of my go-to people about self-care. Like you are my constant reminder to take some time to invest in myself, and all of us, I think we need that reminder as well. So thank you. Thank you for what you're doing for teachers, because
Of course.
it's a tough job.
I get it. I completely understand.
So, okay, there's so much that I want to talk to you about, because self-care, I think, has been this buzzword, I think, in the last few years. And so the first thing I wanted to ask you was really just one part of your journey, and I think all of our journeys really, is the idea that we really believe that, teaching is just about doing it for the kids, right? Like you're here for the kids. And I know for me, I take great pride in my identity as a teacher, and it's really a big part of who I am. Usually when I introduce myself, it's like, hey, I'm Kathy, I'm a teacher, it's really a big part of who I am. And sometimes I think we lose ourselves in that identity. So can you talk a little bit more and maybe share some tips about bringing awareness to this so that we can still maintain who we are as an individual outside of being a teacher, still also, being very proud of being a teacher?
Yeah, and I think it's really important to acknowledge that those two things can coexist. You can love being a teacher, but you can also love your personal life and your identity outside of the job that you hold. And I think it's really important to remind ourselves that teaching is what you do. It's not the limit to who you are, or it's not the only thing that really holds value or shows your worth. And often I think that gets kind of conflicted when you become a teacher, because I'm not sure about you, but I started teaching when I was in my early 20s, right? And so you
I was
go
22.
in, yeah, same. I think I
yeah.
turned 23 my first year of teaching. So yeah, I was 22. And you jump right in because of these societal norms and these narratives and these depictions of what we see that makes a good teacher. And mind you, this for me, it was 10 years ago. So we didn't have social media where people were talking about the real experiences that teachers went through. So first, I would say continue to share your stories on what's really going on in schools, and continue to show your humanity outside of being a teacher, and use social media as a tool. I didn't have that when I first graduated. We were told, don't go to the wine section in the grocery store near the school that you teach at to avoid seeing parents. don't wear this certain type of clothes, or turn your camisole backwards so you don't show any cleavage. Like there were just so many rules of a specific mold that you had to fit into. And so naturally, me being 22 years old, it's like, oh, I want to be like that. Like I want to be like, this superhero teacher I saw in this movie. And you try to chase this perfection. And I think that's kind of where this mindset comes from, of do it for the kids, because it means you're going to go above and beyond no matter what. Put yourself on the back burner, like, oh, don't worry about me. I'm gonna take care of me during the summertime. Like, no, we have to stop thinking that. These limiting beliefs that we hold, we have to stop that. And so when it comes to drawing awareness to your identity, I would say continue doing the things that make you the person that you are outside of every single role that you have associated with your name. So apart from mom, or apart from dad, apart from wife, partner, apart from, I'm the proud daughter of whomever. Yes, we love that. That's great. However, you are you. And I need everyone to understand you're here for a specific reason and a specific purpose, and you have to nurture your human being self, right? And when we exhaust ourselves trying to chase this perfect image of what a good teacher looks like, and then we're gaslit by do it for the kids, that's when burnout, that's when we run into that stage of burnout. So you have to be very careful when it comes to being very proud. And like I said in the beginning, those two things, they can coexist. So for me, what that looked like I said, coming in at 22 years old, I just wanted to be, former perfectionist here, trying to do everything perfect, having the perfect board and the perfect classroom, and wanting everything to look a certain way. And just let it go. Let it go and allow yourself to truly be who you are inside of the classroom. And then once you leave that school, leave it there. There's always going to be work to be done. That to-do list is never, ever going to be empty. And let's see, I wrote down some other things. Oh yeah, subconsciously, I think I created some sort of narrative in my head. And I think it's important to do some inner work to determine what factors contribute to this story, to this narrative that you told yourself of what a good teacher looks like. And it's really important to unpack that and ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I trying to go above and beyond for this bulletin board? Because then that do it for the kids phrase kind of goes out the window, because it's not for the kids. Like,
It's for you.
Hey, that's for me. And if that's something that brings you sheer joy, please, by all means, go for it. But if that's something that exhausts you, and you notice, you recognize, okay, I keep doing this. It's not serving me. It's not serving the students that I serve. Why am I doing it? Where is that coming from? And how do I make small changes every single day to ensure that I remove whatever that is, and that I can, lead a healthy teaching lifestyle in the classroom. So that was a lot. I know I have a lot to say.
No, I mean, everything you're saying speaks so true. I also started when I was 22. I started teaching in 5th grade, actually. And I remember one particular, I was always the first car in the parking lot, the last car to leave. Like I would leave after the principal, and she's, and I remember my boyfriend at the time, or my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, called me at like 7, had to be like 7 o'clock at night. And I was still in my classroom. I was sharpening pencils for all of my students. And he was like, why are you doing that? Like, I need to go home. And I'm like, because I have to sharpen these pencils, because the kids are just going to come to school. And I'm like, why am I doing this? Like something in this felt like I had to. I could not leave without sharpening those damn pencils and have, isn't
that crazy?
And honestly, I don't even know why, but I was like, I have to go. Like, why am I here? It's dark. It was dark when I got here. It's dark
outside. Right.
And I don't know why we do that to ourselves. I don't know. There's just, I don't know. I wish I could talk to myself back then and be like, girl, come on, you know,
it's time to go. And
It's time to
yeah,
go.
and that's another thing I wanted to touch on is have an accountability partner who's going to help you maintain that identity, because they know, like my colleagues, they knew Caitlin, like they knew that girl. However, like my friends knew a different version, and not shutting yourself away from the people who help you really, you know, who bring out the best in you outside of the positions that you hold. Don't shut yourself out from those people. Like I remember like declining going out for cocktails after work. In Charlotte, we have something called Live After Five, where like young professionals, they get to go, well, not anymore, but they would go to a rooftop in downtown and have, you know, different drinks and go to the bars and eat and all kinds of things. And I was like, well, I got to wake up early. I got to be there for the kids. So I'm not going to go. And like, this is me at 22, like not going out to go hang out with my friends, because all in the name of what? Professionalism, because I don't know. I just felt like that wasn't a place for me. So I kind of shut myself out from going out with the girls on a regular basis. And that's when I really noticed that I was starting to change, and like everything became teacher. My closet was teacher. My hair was teacher. My just the way I carried myself. If I was not thinking about teaching, I was doing something related to teaching. And if I wasn't doing something related to teaching, I was thinking about it. Like,
Yep.
it's almost borderline like obsessive. Like, girl, it's okay. It's going to be there tomorrow. Like, I wish I could have been that person, like you said, to tell my younger self, like, go home. It's going to be okay.
Yeah. I mean, I know for me, it's like for so long, and I didn't even realize it was happening. Like you almost like forget who you are. Like, man, what do I do for fun? Like, what are my hobbies? Like, do I have hobbies?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I was in that exact position. And now 10 years later, I am I guess, I don't know, I'm rediscovering
Relearning who you are.
yeah, who I am. And now it's like you add motherhood, you add marriage, or marriage, then motherhood, you add all of these things. And I was like, oh man, now I got to do it all over again. Like I have to figure out, what are my hobbies? What do I actually enjoy doing? Like what really, really fills my cup in a way where I am refueled, re-energized to continue to do the work that I do. And man, it is very eye-opening. And like you said, it's really, you question why you do those things, but then you wonder like, well, who was I from the beginning? So like I said, I'm glad we have platforms like this and conferences and social media to have these real talk discussions about what teachers are truly going through, and that we can use our voices to like bring awareness and advocate for prioritizing yourself in this case.
Yeah. I mean, and talking about like rediscovering who you are, learn and you know, on top of all the layers,
Unlearning. Yeah.
and it's hard and it takes time, and you know, and it's okay if you've lost yourself a little bit and like process, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
So this kind of brings me to like, you really are the go-to person for self-care, and I love that you are here because you know, so much time, like speaking of using social media and things like that, so much of the internet streets kind of feed us stories that like Netflix is the only self-care option, or nails done.
Yeah.
Do you have any suggestions on how we can practice self-care without like becoming a couch potato? Like Netflix, but I also don't want to become like a lazy bum.
Right. Yeah. I think that's really important. I think we have to really bring awareness to the fact that self-care has become very commercialized, and it's quite different from how it used to be, or the original purpose. It started in the 1950s with like mental patients in institutions, and they were encouraged to practice what was known as self-care, which was literally like exercise and groom yourself. So it was a way
like
of empowering.
like basic.
Yeah. Right. So literal, basic, meet your needs, you know, to improve their self-worth and encourage the patients to take care of themselves. And so it's interesting to see over time how different marginalized groups have used the idea of self-care for advocating against systemic racism and standing up for their rights towards equitable healthcare. And that's where it kind of took the turn of community care, where we're going to make sure that our communities have access to clinics, access to healthcare, access to everything that they need in order to exist and live as a human, right? And so it wasn't until like the 2000s that we started to get this bath bombs, pamper yourself, indulge yourself, all of those things. And so I think it's really important to really determine what works best for you, because what works for me is not always going to work for everybody else. And so when it comes down to determining what works for your self-care, you have to try different things and realize that, okay, if I feel like a couch potato, perhaps I need to ask myself, what is my body really telling me? Because sitting on the couch and watching Netflix, that might not be giving my body the rest that it is really asking for in the way that it needs to rest. I might need to shut myself in a dark room for like 30 minutes and just close my eyes. And that could really, refuel and re-energize my body in the way that it needs. I think recognizing what type of self-care works best for you and doing more of that is really how you're going to avoid becoming a couch potato. But like we said, there's a hard part. It has to be with intention. If I sit down and I'm like, oh, this commercial told me that this face mask was going to make me feel good inside, let me do it. And I just go do it. Okay, girl, do you feel better? No, I don't. Okay, that's because one, you're doing what someone told you to do and not really listening to your body. Two, there's no intention behind it. And a therapist taught me that. I talk to lots of therapists every single month, but we'll talk about that later. And she really explained to me that you have to set an intention when it comes to your self-care. Whatever it is that you're doing to intentionally pour into yourself, you have to go in with that mindset. Okay, I've got this face mask. You know what? I'm going to do this because I know that my pores need it. And I know that I am deserving of this time, this 10 to 15 minutes I have away from the kids. I am deserving of this silent time to myself to calm my mind, to calm my body, and to reconnect with myself. That's a lot different from, I'm just going to put on this face mask because somebody told me to. And so I think the power really lies within yourself. It lies in your mind and how you are able to, and what story you're really able to tell yourself when it comes to the purpose behind your self-care. So that's how you avoid becoming a couch potato. And that's what will really jumpstart your self-care routine.
I don't know if I've ever thought about it as having an intention.
Right?
Yeah.
I know. Me neither. At first I didn't. And I was wondering, like, why is this not working? And it's not like I was going in there kind of like not thinking about it, but it was like I'm expecting the product to do the work for me when I really needed to do the work for myself. Ooh, that was a good one. I need to write that down.
That's Caitlinism right there.
It is. It's a good one. Write it down, folks. You expect the product to do the work when you really need to do the work.
Yeah. Give me some more examples of intentions.
So let's see. Another one, a friend of mine, she wants to go to the movies. That's what she does for her self-care. And I'm like, oh, okay, girl, that's cool. I go to the movies for entertainment. Her purpose is I go to the movies to completely disconnect from everybody around me. I go by myself. I get my popcorn. This is for me. I am worthy of this time to myself. I am worthy of the 2 hours and the $8.75. I don't know how much movie tickets cost.
It's like $20, $8.75.
Yeah, but she set it up to, I am worthy of this time to myself. It is okay that my priorities are taken care of. My children are fine. Everyone is safe. I can take off all of the hats that I'm wearing and truly dedicate this time to myself, and with no guilt involved. And that's where the true I'm pouring back into my own cup comes from. Another one is exercise. So when it comes to your wellness, thinking about, sometimes moms might say, oh, I would die for my children, right? How about you decide to live for your children? And what does that mean? That means taking care of your body in a way that is going to ensure that you are healthy and you are going to be on this earth for as long as you can so that you can be there for those children that you love so much. That's my reason. So those are just a couple examples of how you can really set an intention before you implement some sort of self-care practice. And it can be something as simple as my intention might be to sit in silence, to just cut every single voice that I'm hearing, or, every distraction, cut that off and dedicate this time. This is me time because I deserve it, because I am worthy, because I am valuable of this time, and because I am so important to myself that I am taking this time out of my day to care for me. And the thing is, for teachers, and this is something I had to learn, we plan for everybody else. We are so good at planning lessons. You can write it on a sticky note and boom, it's beautiful. Your observation is great, right? Factor yourself into a lesson plan. Maybe not a lesson plan, but like a weekly plan. And stop putting yourself on the back burner. You've got to, we want you to continue to be here, but you've got to nourish and nurture yourself in order to continue whatever it is that you're advocating for, whatever it is that you, or whoever it is that you are here for, and whatever it is that you name as your purpose to be here. That adds longevity to your life, to make sure that you are well and you are whole and you are taking care of you.
I love that. One of the things, like for me personally, on like a weekly level, I make it a goal to exercise at least 3 times a week. It just for myself, right? Like exactly what you said. Like,
right.
I have to be, it's the way I manage stress. And I look at it as if I don't do it, then I'm breaking a promise to myself, and what I wouldn't break a promise. If I made a promise to you, I wouldn't break that promise because it's important to me to keep my promises. So why would I break a promise to myself?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's really powerful. And I think we have to also, like, what worked for me in that same kind of mindset was, I'm giving out a whole lot of love to a lot of different people, a whole lot of grace, a whole lot of patience, and a whole lot of care, but I am not giving it to myself. And that was really powerful for me. And I guess that relates to yours. Like I'm breaking a promise to myself. I'm exerting all this energy to everyone around me, and I'm saving none for myself.
Yeah.
And that simple idea, or that simple click, caused an entire mindset shift.
I love that. Any tips or advice on really how to maintain healthy mind, body, soul connection as we are heading into a new school year? How do we get a good jump start from the beginning?
Absolutely. So I got a few tips. Have an accountability partner or a group at your school. I cannot speak enough on how the past 3 years have just been so chaotic and so exhausting for teachers. And we need each other because we're the only ones that really get it.
Yep.
And you try to explain it to your partner and it's like, oh, they understand, but they don't get it, and granted, you're kind of taken away from your family by bringing home whatever it is that's exhausting you. So I would say surround yourself with some sort of accountability partner or group who you can lean on, and who's going to help you achieve whatever goals, self-care related or professional related, whatever, that you're trying to reach for. Next, find joy in every single day. I cannot tell you how many times in the classroom I've had random moments where me and the kids, we would just have a little chuckle. Like we were going to have fun. Like I don't, it was very stressful. We can say that. However, finding joy and finding small moments that you can really, really tap in on and hold on to will really make a huge difference. Journaling, if that works for you, there's different types of journaling that you can do where you're doing just like a typical brain dump, just get it all out there on the paper. You can respond to a specific prompt, or you can like write a letter to your future self, or to your past self in regard to whatever it is that you are more so concerned about. But I think what's really going to make have the biggest bang for your buck when it comes to ensuring your self-care plan is executed and that you are going in, and not kind of backing down, is having those boundaries set in place. And that's simply a limit where you recognize a specific situation or a specific we'll say that, like a specific situation like causes you to be exhausted. If you recognize that this is a limit I am going past and it brings me all types of stress and negative vibes, we might have to build a boundary around it. And honestly, some of the things that are going to upset you, you might have to do because that's the nature of the work that we do. But there are some things that are within your control. And I think when you have really solid boundaries that are communicated, you will be able to continue your self-care routine. But what I don't want teachers to do is wait until summertime to try to practice self-care and thinking that you can make up for the past 10 months in 2 months of summertime. That's not realistic and it's not healthy. So finding time every single day to do something for yourself, have a hard stop, like I'm going to stop working at 5 p.m. That means physically, mentally, emotionally, I am disconnecting. And that's very hard to do because of the work that we do and because we're so passionate about it. Those are our babies. We care so much about them. I get it,
Yep.
but care about yourself as well.
Yep.
And when you go home, that is when you plan that time for yourself. When you're at work, that is when you dedicate that passion and let that fuel your drive while you're there, and keep those two things separate. And that would pretty much be it. But the last part I would say is just have the boldness, have the audacity to care about yourself as we kind of push back against a system that thrives on our overworking. And, it takes a boldness. It takes quite a courage, but you got it within you and you definitely deserve it.
That's that radical
Mm-hmm.
self-care piece that you had talked about, like it's, I mean, it's one of those things where my principal's always like, he emails at 8-9 p.m. at night, and I've totally taken email. I've taken all notifications like off of my phone because it's like, I mean, it's going to be there tomorrow and it's okay.
Right.
If I get to it at 7 in the morning, like it's just okay.
Yeah, so, I think that's a way that we push back against the system and we teach people how to treat teachers, because obviously on social media and the conversations that have been had, there's a lot that the public and society don't quite understand. And it's up to us to put boundaries in place and to use our voices to help people really understand what's going on. But at the same time, you cannot afford to sacrifice your well-being because of a societal norm that's been going on for decades, So that's what it boils down to.
Yeah, I mean, and I hate to say it, it's like, if you don't take care of yourself, you will be putting yourself in some dire situations, right? Like health-wise or mental health-wise. Yeah. Your family will care about you. They'll probably be, your family and friends will probably be the only ones that care about you. Your school will not care about you. And I hate to say it, it sounds like, it sounds harsh, but it's true. I mean, they're just going to find a replacement for you. And there's you can't be replaced, right? In your home,
exactly,
to your loved ones. And so you got to take care of yourself and really put yourself first, because school's not going to do it for you.
They're not going to tell you to take it. They are not. Like I said, they thrive on us overworking. Literally, they're not going to be the ones to tell you, hey, go take a break. You look like you deserve it. No, girl, you have to tell yourself that. They are not going to tell you that at all. At all. No.
100%. Yes.
100%. No, they're not.
Caitlin, you are giving us an amazing, incredible gift inside of the VIP toolkit. And in our bonus interview, we're going to talk more about your amazing gift, which is called the My Self-Care Plan, where we're going to dive deeper into our triggers. We're going to go into your 6 areas of self-care, make ourselves an individual plan, which I'm really excited about. If you upgrade your ticket, you're going to want to click the button right below the video and grab Caitlin's amazing gift, because it's one, it's
grab it,
and 2, I think this is going to be a great place for us to start taking a look at our individual lives, incorporating, all of our individual needs and the different layers that we all have in our lives, so that we can really move forward into the new school year feeling good and maintaining, goodness, right?
Yes, that is the important part. Maintain it. Yes.
Yes, because it's great if we can start it, but then you don't want to come like January or
Yeah.
because for me it's like April, May. That's when
it's such a rush.
Like it's always horrible, So
yeah, I feel that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this was such a wonderful conversation. Caitlin, can you just share where we can go learn more about you, follow you on social media, just be a part if we would like to?
Absolutely. So you can find me on Instagram and Facebook at How to Get Away with Teaching. And you can visit our website where we have blog and lots of resources at www.howtogetawaywithteaching.com.
You also, please don't forget to share the fact that you have a monthly subscription box, right? Like if you go to your website, you are literally providing a monthly box teaching for us every month to help us start. Please tell us a little bit more about that. I don't want to over it.
Sure. Okay. So How to Get Away with Teaching sends out a monthly teacher self-care subscription kit where we provide you with productivity tools, mental health resources, and some cute little goodies just for a pick-me-up. But also there's this awesome piece where I include I include expert advice from a mental health therapist. We've also learned from sleep therapists. We've learned from life coaches, fitness coaches, anybody who's just dedicated to nurturing your physical and mental well-being. So you will get access to our private Facebook group with your subscription, and you will get digital downloads, which will be very similar to the workbook that is in the package that Kathy was discussing earlier. And you'll get access to our community where we are supporting teachers and prioritizing themselves. So here's the box. Would love for you to visit us at How to Get Away with Teaching to grab your subscription today.
What an amazing, who love mail, like good mail, right? Like
period, right? It's cute too.
What an amazing gift to give ourselves every month, and what incredible we're doing. Caitlin, thank you so much for being part of this event. We will see everyone over in our bonus session. Bye for now.
Thank you. Thanks, Kathy.